Rolex prices have been dropping on the grey market for the past 1.5 years. And at the same time, Rolex keeps upping their prices. The last time, only 2 weeks ago on January 1st. Most of the questions I receive are something along the lines of, hey Jenny, is it worth buying? And then insert the reference number, Rolex at retail. So in this video, I will show you the top 6 Rolex watches you can currently get pre-owned or unworn on the grey market for way less than what you would pay retail for. That way you won't waste a ton of money and time buying retail. And just a quick note before we head into it, all prices and percentages in this video are valid for the time of releasing this video, so right now. So if you're watching this in a couple of months from now, hi, but right now we have January 2024, so it is worth checking again, perhaps even get a bigger discount, And that being said, I would say let's get started. Okay, first we have the Rolex Explorer 36 in two-tone, reference number 124273. When it was first released in 2021, it wasn't super well received. Lots of people were confused by the combo, with the Explorer being this adventure type field watch, but then, introduced in a two-tone. So yeah. And so even immediately after its release, the two-tone Explorer prices did not skyrocket as, pretty much all of the Rolex novelty prices do on the secondary market. At retail, you currently have to pay €12,100, but let's check prices online for this one. If you want a brand new unworn Explorer like this, you are currently looking at a price tag of around $10,000, which, is a bit over 15% less than retail, which I think, is pretty amazing if you're basically, buying it brand new. If you do not mind a watch that has already been worn a bit, we fall slightly below the 10K line, so there's not that big of a difference, which is probably because of the watch itself that has not been around for that long, or just long enough to have a bigger supply of watches on the secondary market yet. When we are looking at the overall development over the months, the trend very obviously goes downwards, which means that yes, if you want to buy it either pre-owned, new or worn, it is a good time now, but keep in mind that selling it a bit later on might be a bit of a drag as well, since it does not look like it's a high in demand watch. Nevertheless, if you want skip the wait list and don't mind a few signs of wear, you can get the slightly controversial conversation starter a good 15% below retail right now. Right, our second watch is an iconic Submariner, and the colorway with the blue dial is definitely not for the watch collector, that does not want to stand out. I really love the colors. Kind of reminds me, of the summer and the beach, which I cannot wait for. So, let's check what the prices are doing here. So right now, if you want to buy retail, you have to pay €39,800 to be exact. So if you're looking to buy an unworn brand new full gold sub with a blue dial and the slightly thinner lugs in 41mm on the secondary market, you will be able to find offers going for $1,000 to $2,000 less than retail, which is great if you, want a brand new watch, because that way you can skip the wait time and don't have to pay that big of a premium, even if any, on the secondary market. If you don't mind it being worn, the price for you drops depending on the offer about 5%, starting at around $37,000, depending on the age of the watch and the state of the set, so no box or box and papers, etc. But if we look at the overall price development on the secondary market, we see, just like with the Explorer from before that I was talking about, that there is a downward trend, even, with a slight dip at the end of 2023 since the Submariner, which also only started out to be, slightly above retail anyways. So if you want to skip the wait times and feel a little bit impatient, and don't mind a few signs of wear, I guess, you can really save a couple of thousands on this one and get this one directly on the grey market, which I think is pretty neat. Okay, next up we are taking a look at the Day-Date 36 or 40mm. It is definitely one of the statement watches from Rolex, since they're only available in precious metals. And to me, the Day-Date line has by far the most interesting and beautiful dial options out of the entire Rolex catalog. I know from my watch dealer friends that they are currently buying most Day-Dates below retail price, except the 40mm models with those special dials. So we are not talking about those crazy Day-Dates here. Their price is set above retail for quite some time, but they have been dropping the past year. So for example, the retail price for the 228-235 is €42,500 with the chocolate dial. And so when looking for unworn offers, it's only ever so slightly above retail. But now if you check out the pre-owned ones, the worn watches, they are about 1K less than retail. Similar situation with the 36mm Day-Dates. If you are not going for the extremely rare dials like, the turquoise or the carnelian dials. Though there isn't that big of a difference like the Explorer, you always have to, factor in, the time of waiting at an AD for your desired day date and, well, therefore its availability. So because of that, for many day date 40s and 36s, it is easier and sometimes even less costly, to go directly to the secondary market because, A, you don't have to wait, and B, prices are roughly the same with only a margin of a difference if it's not that crazy of a dial like I mentioned, and you can get them below retail. Okie dokie, next we are looking at Daytonas. Yes, they're still going extremely strong with being Rolex's most sought after watch even after all this time, and there's no end in sight either. There are a lot of configurations out there, so we have to first sort the Daytona into two categories for this. So we've got A, the full steel, and B, the precious metal ones, which will also include the two tones and the ones on an Oyster Flex strap. When it comes to full steel, we are still very well above retail. Probably the one Rolex line that is the most above retail because it is currently only starting at about double the price if you want an unworn one on the secondhand market, going from 30,500 and more. There also has not been much change in terms of price development on this reference number. There is a minor decline, but it sits right there at 35,000 on average for the full set. Plus, there aren't that many being sold as worn. So yeah, there isn't conclusive data on the worn ones, which makes it difficult to give you an estimate here. So yeah, if your AD offers you one, it's still a no-brainer when it comes to full steel. So let's look at the Daytonas you can get below retail. So for this, we are focusing on the standard yellow gold Daytona with either a white or a black dial with the reference number 116508. About half a year ago, the black and white dials were still on Chrono24 about, 10K above retail. But I know for a fact from my watch dealer friends that they were never sold for that price. They went for less than that was stated on these offers. Currently, they sit at about 2 to 7K above list price worn, and still at about 10K when new. And I know that most watch dealers will only buy them at retail, for themselves when they are new or even slightly below retail if they're worn, so they can still make profit on them. So if you really love to own and wear a Daytona, you shouldn't get too discouraged with the full steel situation and, dare to look into precious metals. I know we're still talking about a huge amount of money here, but comparatively, the precious metal ones are still way easier to get and sometimes even below retail. Right, let's continue with the Yacht-Master, more specifically the 42mm reference number 226659. It was released in 2019 and is only available in white or yellow gold. Well, technically there's also, the titanium version in 42, but I consider that a different watch entirely in itself. So we're going to focus on the standard precious metal versions. Yacht-Masters are one of my favorite Rolex watches besides the Oyster Perpetual. But be aware that the 42mm version is really only suited for larger wrists. So this one is not approved by the itty bitty wrist committee, unfortunately. Its retail price is at €31,200. And the situation with this one is very similar to the full gold Submariner I was talking about earlier in this video. On the secondary market, it is currently priced at around 31 to 33,000 if you want it, new and unworn, which is more or less around the RRP. And considering that watch dealers, buy them for less, then there's always room to negotiate. The same, but worn Yacht-Masters currently go for way less. One offer is even starting at about 26,000 that I saw this week. Prices for this model peaked at around, springtime 2 years ago, but they have quickly found themselves at the level they are now, and they have been that way since December 2022. So yeah, all in all, in this case, if you do not mind a pre-owned watch, this Yacht-Master is currently really a great choice. The last watch is definitely one of the most popular Rolex models ever and currently available in lots of different configurations, with different materials. For example, we've got a two-tone, a full gold, and there's also a left-handed version of the GMT-Master II out there. So, definitely something for everyone. But for this video, there's only one configuration we are going to look at. It is the Everose black and brown bezel GMT-Master II. With all the new releases, it seems like the Everose root beer is a bit, past its glory days, and it's now slowly but surely dropping in price, which, is great news for everyone who is waiting to get their hands on it. Its current retail price is at €41,500, which, come on. This one used to be at 35,000 a couple of years ago, but anyways, it's insane. Currently, if you want it, unworn, you can expect a price at around 38 to 39,000 on the gray market, which is pretty nice and more like the retail price from last year. If we look at the price development, it seems like it will likely stay that way for the next months or weeks if you prefer it being unworn. And now if we take a look at the worn offers, the worn watches, you can expect prices at around 36,000. And same as the unworn, things aren't moving that fast at this category either. So this is definitely one you can totally get below retail, but you also have to, keep in mind that selling this one again might need some patience, as this also means that, it's just not that high in demand right now. Right, now you know exactly which Rolex watches you will be able to, get with a discount. So you can now make sure that you always get the best deal for you. You also know which ones would still make sense to get directly from your AD should you, get offered one. And for which models it is better to, look for a great offer on the secondary market. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to watch more videos like this one, make sure to subscribe to my channel. And yeah, again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!